I love your mug, Laura.
Thank you. I will never grow up. That's why I talk about mics.
We should.
Mike, mics. Those are my favorite kind of mics.
Yeah. Me too.
We should never.
Of course.
Okay.
So I start recording right from the beginning, just in case we catch any like magic. But obviously, that's not going to make it in.
That's not going to make it in. Me being wildly confused isn't going to make it in.
No. Oh, the wildly confused part is definitely going in. Just the microphone is not going in.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to monetize once you start talking about that.
Exactly.
This is what happens when you get a spicy romance author on, though. Everything is
right. So first of all, talk to me because I think we followed each other, but I follow people that I never see posts from because Instagram's algorithm.
Well, how dare you not like actively seek me out?
Well, I should have. Right.
Number one, how very dare you?
I'm very. But so how many books have you written?
Well, like published in the world, I call it 2.5 because one's a novella, so it's like really like a little baby book.
Yeah.
But I was on Wattpad prior to this, and I have 5 books on there, so I've written a lot.
So I never played around with Wattpad, but can you not simply like pull those out and then publish them?
I could. They need to go through an editing process because like Wattpad's free. I'm not paying for an editor on a free website that I can't monetize. Like, heck no.
Right.
Well, tell me more about Wattpad because I've seen it everywhere. I had no idea you had 5 books over there. Like, what?
Well, obviously, someone's not going on my website.
Were those your experimental, like kind of getting into writing kind of books?
Definitely. Yeah. Well, my debut novel started over on Wattpad, and then I decided to pull it and bring it to Amazon because it got really good feedback there. And I was like, oh, let's see if people want to spend money on it. And they did. Yeah. So cool. It worked well. Yeah. But yeah, I did a lot of like my experimental writing over there. So you see a lot of like different stuff. When I was first learning how to write in the male narrative, I created a series over there called the Bestseller Collective, where it was all from the male POV. So that I could like kind of learn how to do that well. So that whenever people like Chelsea have to edit my book.
Yeah.
They're not totally turned off by what they read.
Loved it. It's really fun to have worked with you. I know there's not been a lot. You and I like connected. I don't know, what was it, 2 years ago? And I don't know. And we just randomly
like go to Indiana. I was like, it was that year, and that was 2022. Yeah, 2 years ago.
And we just randomly gotten like closer and closer and closer. And we were like, we vibe.
Yeah, we do.
Now, where do you live now? Because you're on Pacific time, right?
Sure for now. I don't know when the time changes, but soon I'll be on Mountain Time.
Yes! So where are you moving?
I'm not moving. We just don't have a time change here.
Okay. I guess if I thought really hard about that, like back into school days, I would have known that. But I'm not going to think that hard.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't think that hard either.
Yeah.
No, I live up by Alaska.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I have all the lights shining on me because I'm like, let's try and make this look somewhat normal and not like I'm sitting in pure darkness till almost 11 in the morning at this time of year.
So are you in the States or are you
I'm Canadian.
Canada side? Okay, cool.
I'm Canadian. I'm on the right side.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere.
That's the best place to live.
Honestly.
Yeah, that is the best place to live.
I mean, well, Chelsea, of course, you live on a mountain.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I had deer this morning. I was feeding deer yesterday afternoon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is magical.
It is really magical.
50-pound basset hound yesterday. He was not magical when he ate.
Oh,
I love basset hounds. They're so freaking
so cute.
They're so cute.
See, this is why you see on my page, Micah. You could see him.
Yes,
I follow you. Don't I?
Actively look. Now I'm gonna post a picture of Edgar, and we're gonna see.
You should,
Micah, if Micah sees him.
We're looking right now live.
Well, I don't have a picture of him right now. I'm a boring person.
Whose fault is that?
I legit stalk her stories out just to see Edgar.
Poor Hadley.
I'm sorry. He's so cute. I love them all. I love them both. It's just,
Wait, what do you go under?
L. Meredith books.
Meredith.
You knew this. Micah, you knew this.
L. Meredith. I got an L. Meredith B. New account, old posts, 16 followers. That's you.
Are you? What are you doing?
I'll go ahead and follow you now.
That's not me. What are you doing?
Okay, followed. There. See, I followed you.
I don't think that. Wait, what? What are you following?
It said L. Meredith, new account, old post. You follow 16 people.
She's not a new account.
You follow 14
not a new
people.
Account.
And you have 16 followers. I followed. Now you have 17 followers.
Oh my God.
I don't know who you're following, but it's gonna be a real special ride for you.
It's a real start of a romance here.
It's real special when I follow people. So now I followed you. So
that's not me.
Quit lying.
I feel like hold on here, people.
There's a picture of a sports car on it. That's you, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is like the most car-like page ever. All you see are. Oops, I can't scroll.
Yeah, that's not.
All you see are cars on here.
Look at that Ferrari.
Look at that. Ooh.
I'm gonna have to unfollow that person I just followed, because that's definitely not you.
This is brilliant.
It's ridiculous. I know. I follow you.
You do. I'm gonna save you the struggle. You do follow me.
Yeah,
you definitely follow me.
But I can't find you. Like it's.
You're
weird.
spelling her name wrong then, because
Your mom's spelling her name wrong.
What the?
It's all that Folgers you're drinking.
Hey, I don't know if you can see this. I'm not drinking Folgers. I'm drinking, like I told Chelsea a couple weeks ago. I got me a Keurig, and I'm drinking fancy coffee.
Fancy coffee, dude.
Is fancy coffee like Nabob, or is that just like a Canadian thing?
No, it's basically Folgers in a K-cup.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's up? No, I know. I think it's Starbucks or something like that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's not very good. Like I was pretty surprised at how not good it was.
I don't drink Starbucks anymore.
Yeah,
Skip.
I make my own. My work bought a latte machine, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna make my own now with good coffee.
Yes.
I don't do caffeine anymore, so it's like doubly hard to find good decaf coffee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a tough one.
Yeah. It's not.
I remember that from being pregnant and like not being able to drink a lot of regular coffee, and I'm like, well, this is depressing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like so Mike and I randomly, awkwardly, strangely cut out caffeine at the same time.
Yeah.
Not
weird.
planned. It was really weird. And then, so we talked about it, and I was out in the city on Tuesday, and I went into a coffee shop, and I did not realize how little trust I had until I was literally ordering a decaf, and I was like, it's decaf, right? Are you sure it's decaf? Promise it's decaf?
I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing. My daughter wanted me to pick her up scooters.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, since I'm getting her something, I might as well get me. So I said, make me the most delicious decaf coffee you can make me. Yeah. And they're like, okay, so they made it. And then I was like,
is
you
it
did
decaf?
get the decaf, right? Yeah, I like double checked. It's so weird because I've been on caffeine all my life, so it's not like it's
going to kill me. But I know, like, having been off caffeine for so long, I can 100% guarantee you, if I had a shot of caffeine right now, I would be like shaking.
Oh yeah, shaking.
Like it would go through my entire body. I would just be like, just the Reaper is going to come for me. Like it would be over.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's me and dairy. I have major trust issues. I'm like, are you sure that you used oat milk? Like, do you promise me? Like, and whenever it's not, I know it because I am like dead sick for a week, and I will curse whoever did it.
God,
are you lactose intolerant, or is it something else in dairy?
Sorry, what?
Are you lactose intolerant, or is it something?
No,
else?
It's like a full like cow's milk issue.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Crazy.
Laura talked about that. You talked about that in our group chat a bit ago. Yeah.
Well, see, if
the saddest time in my life is giving up dairy. Like I'm not mentally okay or emotionally okay. I'm just getting through.
if you had posted that on your Instagram, which I follow, I would have known that. So I don't know. It's post more. Dang it! Then I know.
Yeah. The problem is my lack of posting. I'm
Right.
not very active. That's the real problem here.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't post ever.
It's lame. So get back to your books.
You can't keep up with what I'm reading or writing. Like it's just.
I know.
It's just bizarre.
It's lame. Oh, did we lose her? Oh, okay.
Oh, she's right there.
You're back.
I'm
Yeah,
right here.
You disappeared for a minute.
Sorry, guys. I live in the north. We barely have internet.
Yeah. So get back to your books. What? What prompted you to become an author? A, and B, what prompted you to write the genre that Chelsea and I both have feelings toward?
Oh my god.
Okay, well, I will talk about it, but then I need to know your feelings, and I need to debunk all of it.
We're gonna debate it because this is gonna be great.
Oh god,
It'll be so good.
Micah's emotions towards this genre run deep. Okay,
I don't really have emotions for it. And put it this way: I've never read good spicy. Okay. So put it that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, so put it that way. So that's where
obviously he didn't read the book that you edited, Chelsea.
And it was fabulous.
Chelsea gave me a glowing review on the scene I wrote.
If you had even once posted about it, I would have read it because I follow you.
It's a work in progress.
Oh, well, see? It's whose fault is that? Chelsea.
She's done now. She finished her edits. So
I did.
That's good. Like, what do you do for covers? Who do you go to for them?
Well, I used I'll show you. So for this one, like this is my debut Calorglin.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
With the glaring light.
Well, obviously you follow me because that guy looks just like me. So
yeah. I mean, if he's inspired by Micah, obviously.
Yeah, I get it. I get
it. Middle-aged and hates romance.
Yeah.
Doesn't believe in good spice.
Right. That's me.
The character. Yeah. You nailed it. You nailed Patrick. You figured him out. Obviously you're Irish.
Yep, I am. Irish. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yep. So for this art, this was by Skenya. She's at Wigged Wonder on Instagram. Cool. That's who I used for this. Lately I've been using a different artist though, and I can't say her handle to save my life.
That's awesome.
It's like Vitko Seva art, I think.
I've seen you tag her.
I know I can't say her name. I'm like her first name's Katya. I can say that, but I can't do her handle to save my life. I've been using her for like all my art. Like for those who are following, like Micah, you're gonna know this, right?
I will know this. I'm asking for those who don't know.
Exactly.
Right.
So for those who don't know, the last post I made with my friend Ria, where we have like two art, like there's PNGs of us.
Mm-hmm.
That was done by Katya. She did it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So she's wonderful, and her prices for like her skill, her turnaround time, which is insanely fast, and how communicative she is. Like she has a really good price, and she's fantastic.
That's awesome. I love your covers. I love them.
So
They're so perfect.
I do have actually some of her art on my wall. Hold on. The things you're gonna have to edit out. Yeah, this is her art here. This is for a book I have not released yet, but that's her.
Yeah, cover it up.
Oh, she's so talented.
Yeah, isn't she amazing?
I love
when I reached out to her, she has a huge following. When I reached out to her, I was like, "There's no way she's gonna do art for me." And she's always like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I'm like, "All right, let's go."
That's awesome. That's good.
So
that's amazing. Does she book up pretty far in advance, or is she like?
You know what? No. I always find it's not too bad. It's like a couple of weeks normally before she can start, and she just says, "Yeah, like send your stuff, and I'll let you know when I can start." And she sends an invoice because you like most places you pay your 50% up front, and then
I'm gonna pick your brain more about that because the Project Realm Thief that I'm working on, which I will be returning to next week, the art style is going to be a lot differently, and it's going to be a lot more fun, witty. It's not going to have that dark thematic vibes that I'm always constantly looking for with the Varelian Saga, but I'm going to pick your brain a little bit more because I really love the art style that she does with your stuff.
Yeah, you should also go on her page because she does a lot of fantasy art.
Yeah.
Like, most of her
cool.
artwork that you see on her page is fantasy, which is why I was like, I don't know if she's going to work out with me on contemporary, but she was like super happy to do it. And it's
it's so good.
beautiful.
It's got such a vibe to it. It's really good.
It is. Yeah, you should see her fantasy stuff. Like, that's what blew me away. Like, she creates these amazing like worlds in her art. Like, it's so cool.
Really?
Yeah, like she does amazing. You
have
gotta go.
to. Yeah, you have to send me her
I
stuff.
will send you her page so that you can actually go and like spend some time scrolling. Like, it's amazing.
I would love to get character art.
What I'll do is I'll have you send me both of those artists that you mentioned. I'll have you send me those via email, and I'll put them up while I edit or when I edit, so people can see them.
Yeah.
Yes,
I will. I can do that because I am following you, Micah.
Of course you are. I mean, the question is, who isn't? Who isn't following me?
Who isn't following me?
I can tell you who's not following me. A lot of people.
Yeah, that is correct. Same here. So I'm assuming the same people who are not following me are not following you.
I would assume so.
They're all
missing out.
We're also looking for different people. We write in different genres.
I write spicy.
Do you?
No, I don't. I don't even know.
Micah secretly writes spicy. It's like this, little dark romance smut, little dash of fantasy. He doesn't talk about it often, but he does.
Yeah, one time I did. It was right when 50 Shades came out and blew up.
We cannot compare anything that's out now to that. Come on now.
So when 50 Shades came out and it got so big, I was like, okay, I'm going to read it because like I got to see what it's all about. I read it and I was abhorred. Like it was the most awful, atrocious thing I'd ever read in my life.
Yes.
Just strictly.
We all feel that way.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm talking just grammar and like just prose and like it was just awful. Like the actual talent of this person was non-existent. But it got huge, so I was like, oh, okay, well, for fun, I'm gonna write something spicy.
Oh, geez.
And so I wrote, and I got like, I don't know, 14, 15, 16,000 words in, and maybe at about the 8,000 word mark, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this under a pseudonym because there's no way that I can look anyone in straight in the face. Yeah, with writing this disgusting stuff I'm writing. And then about
I want to know what you wrote.
Oh, do you have? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! It was so bad. Like it was unreal. And then around the 16,000 word mark, I was like, yeah, this is so bad. I could never do it even under pseudonym, so I stopped.
Oh, I need to know. Like, I need to read it.
I don't think
was this like so bad? Like you can't, like, I won't be able to look anyone in the eye after I read
it. Pretty much. Like there was nothing. Like basically, like I write very viscerally and very descriptively, and I can take like 3 or 4 paragraphs to do what another person would do like a sentence on. So like and that's what I was doing with like.
So we know where everyone's foots are and their ears.
Oh yeah, like
every where every part of their body is.
Like every sense was like in
every sense
at level 10. Smell was a big sense that I played with.
Oh God,
because it was hilarious. So yeah, by the end I was like, this is disgusting.
Oh my.
No one will.
Micah's over here talking crap about romance, and then he's sitting here talking about it. He wrote 16,000 words.
Well,
in romance.
That was you know how fast I write. That was like a couple of hours worth of work.
Oh my God, that was like 6 years worth of work for Micah.
I was like, did I not watch one of your guys' podcasts where you talked about spending like 6 or 7 hours writing shadows on leaves?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I will say, I got 3 paragraphs done the other day, and it only took like 4 hours.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Record.
I was pretty impressed.
Record, Micah, record.
I'm turning it up. I'm growing.
I got over 5,000 words done yesterday.
Whatever.
I wrote 100 words yesterday, so
that's great. That's great.
It's better than 0.
So quit sidetracking me.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go back to your book. What made you start writing? When did you start writing?
I started writing when I was a kid. Like as soon as, the first computer came out and I was like, oh, you can type on this? Cool. And then I started writing stories.
Yeah.
Not trying to age myself, internet.
Right.
I'm in my 30s, okay? It's fine.
Nobody cares. I'm in my 60s. Nobody cares.
No, you're not.
Close. About 20 years, 25 years from there, but
yeah, that's real close.
Just a skip away, Micah.
Yeah, you're just like a stone's thrust. What am I saying? Stone's toss. Wow.
Stone's toss. I'll edit that too. No, I won't.
No, you won't. You're gonna leave that.
I will definitely leave it in.
Yeah. Anyway, so since I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Olsen twins. So my first books were about twins called Hannah and Claire.
Yeah.
It was all about their first kiss because I was so sure my first kiss was going to be the most magical moment of my life. Spoiler alert, it was not.
Yeah.
It absolutely was not.
Oh yeah.
But I that's probably where my romance stuff began. And and then as an adult, I nearly died giving childbirth. And that's when I was like, all right, let's just go after our dreams because apparently you can die at 25. So
wow. It's so cool though that you pursued that. First off, legendary.
Thank you.
More credit needs to be given to women with childbirth because there are some scary stories out there. So
there are, yeah.
Good for you. Like I'm so happy you're here.
I try not to share mine whenever someone's like a first-time mom and they're like, "How was your first experience?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was. Here's the results. Isn't she beautiful?"
Right. That's scary.
That's so scary. But I love your approach. You're killing it. You're like, you know what? Let's take it in stride. And you pursued writing and you were like, let's just do this. So that's cool.
Life is short. It's like, whenever you are knocking on death's door, you realize, hey, like, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could leave this earth tomorrow. You might as well do the thing that scares you. And
yeah,
I mean, everyone says, like, even to this day, my mom's like, oh, you'll never make money writing. And it just makes me go, watch me.
Yeah.
watch me.
Right.
And that's like, I am so grateful for every single reader that literally just randomly stumbles across my book. Like 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? Yeah, it was. 2 days ago, I got tagged in a review on Facebook from a reader that randomly read The Blood of the Lion and left this raving review. And like they were so nice, and I just sent them, and they were like, "Can I please have the two more books?" Like I was like, "I will send those to you because I appreciated your review so much." Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was just like the sweetest thing in the world. It totally made my week.
That's
and it's
cool.
like every single reader out there, it's amazing. Yeah. It's awesome.
It is.
It's so true. It's so funny because on Threads all the time, people are like, "Is it okay to slide into authors' DMs and rave about their books?" And it's like, absolutely, like 100%. Please do. Come into our DMs and tell us that you loved our book. I mean, my favorite comment I get, I actually made a reel about it. Micah, I know you saw it this week. The reel where the most comment I get about my book Colorglin is like, it makes people cry, and I love it. I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that you connected with my characters enough that the part where I wanted you to feel like a really deep emotion, I didn't necessarily mean to make you cry. I meant to make you a little sad, but
you meant to break them, Laura. We all
no, you want them to cry.
I meant to break you.
Yeah. Every time you want them to cry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I cried writing it, so like it's like really great to hear that like I'm not just the only one crying. I'm actually making other people cry.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is like the biggest compliment as an author you can receive.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah. That
it's
and whenever people tell me I'm funny, like when Chelsea like validated that I was funny in the book that she edited, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm just laughing by myself.
That's okay too. That's okay too.
Dude, I loved the book I edited for you. It was so funny. Micah, I don't think I've told you this, but it is, and she says this herself. It's like a 90 Days meets the proposal.
Yeah.
And it is so funny. It's so lighthearted. It's got such raw moments though. And it is such a fun concept story that I don't think I've ever read anywhere else when it comes to this genre. And it's just, I loved it. I was like, this is amazing.
Well, what is 90 days?
90? Oh my God. Oh no. I gotta leave, you guys. I gotta go.
That wraps it up.
What? What is 90 days?
Laura and I were
90
literally just talking about this right before we jumped on.
And we're not even done the conversation. We got to pick it up when we're off.
Is it a movie? Is it a book?
It's a reality TV show
Called 90 Days?
90 Day Fiance. Have
90
you
Day
never
Fiance?
considered doing the K1 process? Have you never met someone from overseas that you just fell so deeply in love with that you wanted to bring them to the American dream?
Or
Okay,
the opposite, you leave to their country.
Oh, yeah, or the opposite. You just want to get the heck out of America and you're like, I want to live in Istanbul.
I don't want to live in Istanbul.
I mean, no one does, but that's not the point.
You've never heard of this, Micah?
No,
Oh,
90 Day Fiance is what it's
Ask
called.
your wife. Micah, ask your wife. She's got to have known about it.
She has to know.
Well, that's my daughter because my daughter watches garbage.
Okay, then ask your daughter.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, ask somebody.
And now the proposal you're talking about, the Ryan Reynolds,
Yes.
Sandra Bullock one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen that, and that one's cute because I love them both.
Which is so funny because when I came up with this concept, I thought it was like so original, and then I was talking to my friend about it, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's just like the proposal," and I was like, "This is just a reminder, I guess, that no idea is really original."
No,
and that's true. Right, that is true. Yeah,
it's how you tell it that makes it original.
Right.
I'm like, it's how
Exactly.
you tell it.
Yes.
So do you have the cover of that book?
I don't because
Okay. Is that the new one? The one you were
reading it? So
Okay.
yeah, so we're gonna see. We'll see.
I just wanted to see what the characters looked like, and if they looked a lot like Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, then that'd be very funny.
No, she is a mixed race woman, and he's a rugged Alaskan man. Like,
Yeah,
he is like
he's hot,
manly man. I'm in love with him.
Yeah, that's good.
Me too.
I'm in love with him, and his name is Ruger. Like, come on.
That's just no. You can't get more Alaskan and rugged than that.
Yeah.
Their names are Ruger and Remington. They're twins. And yeah,
both named after rifles. Yeah.
I'm so glad someone gets it.
Of course I get it.
Yes.
I'm American.
Yeah, you're American too. What the heck, Chelsea?
That's true, Chelsea.
I'm
You should know
Canadian,
that.
and I know this. I also live in a really hunting heavy area,
Right,
of course. So
right.
obviously,
Oh my God. I had no idea that was a thing.
Ruger and Remington. Yeah, they're rifle names. That's why I picked them.
Yeah, that's
Peace out,
great. I
guys.
love that. I'm gonna read it. Now you've got my interest.
Well,
It's
I'm
such a
not going
cute
to tell
story.
you, and I still don't know your beef with romance. But there is spice in it, although Chelsea says it's good. So
Yeah.
Very good.
That's good.
It's so
That's good.
perfect.
It's
So perfect for the
I-
storyline.
And we have talked about it on the podcast before. Even in Icker and Ink, I think we talked about it ad nauseum.
I think.
I don't mind spice. Like I'm not like a gatekeeper. Like, oh, I don't like it, so you shouldn't like it. No, absolutely not. I'm 100% for people enjoying what they enjoy to write or to read or whatever. But just me personally, I just don't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that, right? Like, that's me in horror. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to pick up your horror. Like, I respect that you wrote it, and I bet you did a fantastic job with it.
I did.
And I will cheer you to the ends of the earth that you, like, find your audience and your people. Personally, you don't want me reading it because I'm going to, like, probably throw it across the room 20% in and be like, nope, we're done.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like that with me with spice. Like if you dig it, man. Cool, good deal. But like to me, it's like, nah, I don't get anything out of it.
That's amazing. It really, like, I'm really sold on, like, I will read a romance if the character development is there. Like,
Yeah.
I am always there for the characters. And so that's why it's, like, so refreshing. And I will go to my grave blue in the face about the story I edited for you, which was such a refreshing take on romance and with the character development and just respecting each character's psychology and their development and their journey through this. Because romance itself is such an integral piece of who we are. And how we act, how we perceive the world is how we view romance and how we view a partner, how we view another person's promises, false lies, whatever it might be. And so being able to respect that and have a companionship, a marriage between how romance is developed with how characters are developed, I love that. And so, yeah, I'll say it again. Like, I loved the story I worked on with you, and I'm just so excited for you because it was such a refreshing take. That is, I think, where I've struggled with romance in the past is because I've picked up way too many books that just don't give the characters the time and the place to develop. And I'm like, where did you get that romance from? Where did you get that love, that partnership, that loyalty?
Right.
When all I know is you order a coffee latte at the shop, and yeah, I don't even know what your job is.
Yeah,
Like,
well, most romance to me, and like I said, I've not read any good ones, but it just seems like the whoever's writing it has ideas of scenes, so they just need something to connect the scenes, which is not how you
mhm.
go about writing a story. You
And
know,
that's the part that I really had to learn as a romance writer. It's like, it's very easy. You have like your kind of plot points, right? Like you have the moments that build up the tension so that you can like
I love tension.
bring them to, so you can bring them to their happily ever after. But you have to show all the in between pieces.
right?
And that's the part that I felt like, for me, as I've learned over the years, has always been like the hardest to kind of get.
Yeah,
And even just very recently, I feel like I'm really just starting to get like the magic sauce, I guess, that kind of brings it all together. And
yeah,
all the little moments and all the little things and all the people around them who help kind of create the relationship and why they're important. Also, tropes matter a lot, and
yes,
really
100%.
understanding those tropes.
Yeah,
Like, everyone's like, oh, romance is so repetitive. And it's like, well, it's repetitive for a reason, because there's
it's
certain things that
right,
make those tropes tick, and it's what
right,
the
Mhm.
readers are looking for. And if you miss those things, you've just ruined the trope for somebody. Like,
right,
someone who
Yep.
came for that, you just ruined it.
right.
So,
So one of the things that bothers me about I think a lot of the modern community in on social media is when they try to like dog on tropes or say, oh, these tropes are overplayed and oh, whatever.
yeah.
It's like, dude, like I read fantasy. It better have what I'm expecting to have in
Yeah,
it when I read it.
reluctant hero prophecies, like
Right.
ancient
Like,
relics,
yeah,
like
it better
magic.
have all that. If it doesn't have that, it's not fantasy and it's not for me.
Yeah.
So it's like I hate when people like purposefully like, speak down on or poo poo tropes, and it's like, no,
Tropes are amazing.
those are the bread and butter of
Yeah.
genre, and yeah. So, oh, I did have a question though. What is the name of the book that's coming out?
Well, it's not coming out. I'm querying it. I will say the name. I haven't actually shared it yet, so this will be like the first place that
Hey,
people
Oh,
see the
fun.
name. And it's, I mean, like I said, I'm querying it, so there's a very high chance that, like, obviously,
Oh,
if it gets picked up, the name would change or
yeah.
whatever. But I am right now calling it 90 Days to Seal the Deal. And
yes.
Seal is spelled Seale, because the last name of the characters is Seal.
Awesome.
You know,
Yes.
it's
Good
So
supposed to be a
deal.
clever.
play on, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so
So
clever.
I love it. So,
yeah.
second question was, what is the female's name?
Renly.
Renly. Okay. I
Yeah.
was hoping maybe it'd be, like Kimber or something like that,
Come on, she's Canadian. We
which is
gotta,
another
like,
firearm name. It's another
she's
firearm name. So I was
part
trying to think of
part of the story is like her shock at just like how often Americans are like, oh, I just gotta grab my gun. It's like what?
right, right.
I do love that. That was so good. Like, you blended the cultural differences so well. Like,
Yeah,
because there is some big culture differences,
there are
especially going
huge.
into Alaska. Like, yeah.
And especially from a very, like, I mean, you guys have Democratic, Republican, like BC is like the California of
Oh yeah.
Canada,
Yeah.
like, so you're taking someone from like California to Alaska.
Right.
It's gonna be
Right.
a big,
Yeah.
like, even that I feel like would be a cultural shock if
It
Oh
that
yeah.
was
is.
known as California.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, no, that
Oh
sounds fun. That
gosh.
sounds like a lot of fun. So you're querying this one. Is this your first one that you've decided to, hey, I'm gonna
I
query and
I have queried before, but everything I ever queried, I was never super excited about querying. This is the first one where I'm like, you know what, this is it. I feel like
yeah,
this is enough of a romance with all the elements that any publishing house would appreciate the elements, but it's different enough that it'll set me apart from
cool.
other ones that are coming in.
Yeah.
So, because everything else, I'm like, some of them I just found leaned a little too heavily on the tropes and not enough on like my own original twist on them. So, this
I
one's
love
kind
that.
of the first one where I feel it. Also, I've been meaning to say this for a while, but Chelsea, there was like a little thing in that book. So the scene in the truck with Ruger and Renly, if you remember that scene, that is actually a real story from my friend that I dramatized, and I asked her if I could use it in a book, and she was like, "Absolutely." She did that.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Her ending was totally different, but yeah. It's a real thing that happened.
Okay, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And Friend of the Year award.
I feel
my
like
friends know I write romance, so when something really crazy happens, when they're like my single friends, the married ones, I mean, we're so boring.
Right.
But yeah,
Micah wants to know.
My single friends, whenever something weird happens in their dating life, they always share it with me, and they're like, "If you want to dramatize this, you can."
Yes, you have freaking epic friends.
And I'm like, let me take notes.
Well, like so when you first told Chelsea, you know, the scene in the truck and that really happened, blah blah blah. Obviously, in my mind, I was like, oh, knowing that we're talking about romance, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I know what happened. But then when you said her ending was different than usual, I was like, well, usually that only ends one way. So if it ended differently, then obviously I don't know what happened. So
it does not end the way that you expect.
Crazy, yeah.
Laura, I feel like, because I am also single, I feel like I have the right to send you ideas now from my own personal dating.
There you go.
If you have some kind of crazy story, share them. There's another book that I've been kind of playing with in my mind. I have to finish this Calorglin series before
you have like two books you're editing. You're like trying.
I have so many ideas, you guys. It hurts. There's another book that has been in my mind, and another story with the exact same friend, except I was there. I asked her if I could use it in a book, and I finally found the book to put it in, and I can't wait because it is so funny. It's the most ridiculous thing that whenever you hear the story, you're like, that has to be out of a book, but it's like, no, this really happened.
No.
And I'm so excited for it. I love drawing from real life and putting it in my making it way more dramatic and putting it in a book, because I'm like, that's how you kind of keep stuff original, is like you pull from real life, you know, and it's fun.
That's so awesome. And I would imagine too, certain things that happen, you're like, your brain starts working because you're like, dude, I would have never thought about that because it's so out there. It's so random. Yeah.
Like there are things that happen where it's like, they're like, it's crazy to think that it actually happened. Like it's just nuts.
Okay, I have a question for you, because I feel like I want everybody to understand that romance can be a freaking kick-ass genre, and contemporary romance can be an amazing series genre to read, especially when you have stories like this that are just so real and relatable. Like, what to you is the most important thing about why you write the genre you do? What makes it so rewarding?
I'm a hopeless romantic, you know, from a very young age. Like my first books were about getting their first kiss. Like I have over romanticized everything in my brain. Like my first kiss, I absolutely over romanticized that. It was terrible. It was the sloppiest, most disgusting experience of my life. I might as well have just drank their saliva. It was terrible. And like I over romanticized like my wedding. Whenever I did get married, I was like, can we just elope? And so we did. Like you just over romanticize, like, but in books, it's like I get to actually do it and I don't have to worry about the consequences. Only my characters do.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
I love that approach.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the consequences, but the characters do.
Exactly, they do. It's their problem, not mine.
That feels like a quote.
And then I'll make a t-shirt.
You should.
New L Meredith merch in time for Christmas.
Dude, seriously, it's the best.
The other thing that I love is I love making real relatable characters. When I read 50 Shades of Grey, instead of going and writing 16K about people's feet.
It wasn't feet.
I just felt like Christian Grey and Anastasia, I'm like, these are not relatable
No, not at
people
Thank
all.
at
you.
Right.
all. Like,
Yes.
I'm like,
At
you
all.
can't, like, it's almost like reading a fantasy novel. Like, I
Right.
can't really relate to them.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create characters where when you read it, it's like you could see yourself as this person, or you could see yourself dating this person or whatever. I wrote a billionaire romance, and that was still my goal, was to make sure that the main female character was relatable.
Mhm.
And, and I think I did a good job. But
Killed it.
I'm a
Killed
little
it.
biased.
I think that's such a really strong approach. Relatable characters in romance.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah.
what sells. And I think that's probably why, like, when I read your stuff, like, I fell in love
Yeah.
because it's so hard. And I'm sure different genres have their own quirks and stuff like that. But for me, finding a romance with such relatable characters feels harder said than done.
Mhm.
And it was so refreshing to get into your world and see that and just go,
Yeah.
God, I could be this character. Like, I 100% relate. And it
So
was, yeah, it's memorable.
let me ask you this, because I
No,
think what
Micah.
you said. Oh, all right.
Sorry.
Please continue.
I don't even know what I was gonna say.
I'll just sit here and write my foot novel. No. So, Chelsea, what you said, I want to come back to now that we have a specialist on with us.
Oh,
You said relatable characters in romance sells, but if we look at the top selling romance books, they are often unrelatable.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of dark romance right now in the
well,
top.
what? Okay. Whew. Wow, you
so I'm
just
not
opened
correcting
up.
you. I'm asking you, why is it that these romances that don't seem like you can connect to them are the ones that are actually selling? Take 50 Shades of Grey, or anything like that is super dark and nobody can really relate to it. Why does that sell when it's also so atrociously written? Why does that sell? How does that sell?
Okay,
I mean, sometimes I have the same questions on Wattpad, man.
I believe
well,
it. Yeah.
I think the why those sell is that readers get to shamelessly explore the impossible and
Mhm.
explore some of the darkest pieces of maybe sexuality, kinks, quirks, whatever it might be, and without judgment. And they aren't necessarily invested for the characters themselves, they're
Yeah.
invested in the characters' actions.
So it's basically like
Yes.
yeah.
I
Is
mean,
my thought.
What do you think, Laura?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, I recently read a dark romance that was recommended to me, and it wasn't. I don't know. I'm a plot over spice person. Like, if you read my books, you'll see that the plot beats out the spice
Yes,
any
that's what I
day.
love. Yeah.
Um, the spice is there. I also try to make my books so that you can close the door. It's like, if you don't want to read it, that's fine. Skim the
Yeah.
pages. You're not going to miss anything if you're
Yeah.
not interested. Unless you're my editor, then you have to read it. I need to make sure the feet are in the right place.
Right. You have to make sure there's only 4 of them, or
Toes
Yeah.
here,
or 6
toes
of them,
there.
or I mean, I guess there could be any number of feet. We don't know.
I mean, that'd be weird if there was only supposed to be 4 feet and suddenly 6 came in.
Yeah.
What happened?
It'd be even weirder if 7 came in.
My
Where'd that
Lord.
extra foot come from?
Sorry, where was it? Yeah, so I read a dark, and it was definitely very spice heavy, and yeah, I don't know. It just it gave me like, it was better than 50 Shades. Okay, the writing, I will say, was like 6,000 times better than 50 Shades of Grey. But everything felt very lacking, and this book
Yeah.
was raved about. But like,
Yeah.
the plot was kind of like, didn't make sense. I couldn't understand why people loved this main character so much and considered him like a book boyfriend. Like, I didn't get it, and I'm like, this is probably my own biases and my own like personal, like, what I want. Like, it's like, you can probably tell from my writing. Like, I mean, you read Ruger. Like, I like a manly man.
Yes, thank you.
So it's like, but I don't know. So like, it might have been my own biases, but I think Chelsea kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like, you get to explore all this stuff without judgment. You can just enjoy it. Now that we live in a world of audiobooks and Kindles, no one knows what you're reading.
Right.
You can never tell anyone that this is all you read. And I think there's just something to that.
Okay, Laura, I have a question. So you said something interesting, and I triggered me, was dark romance is the rave right now. And I think there's some interesting concepts behind it that I could see the allure, but I want to know, what are your thoughts? I mean, why do you think dark romance is so popular?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read very much in it because it's not, and as I read more of it, like some of it's okay and some of it's like not my style. Yeah, I think it's like that idea of getting to explore a darker side of the world safely. Like, like you don't, like you don't have to, like, I mean, not to be that person, like, as women, it can be very scary in the dating world or even exploring your sexuality with another person. You have to really trust them because it is kind of like,
it's intimate.
It's scary. Like, I mean, you don't know who you're going home with. Like, and it's, I mean, women, I don't know, like, it can be very
think about that. Yeah,
it can be very unsafe. It's been a long time since I've been in the dating world, so I don't know what it's like now. Like,
it sucks.
Okay,
I
I'll
imagine
take your word for it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I've been married for so long. I haven't been married that long, but long enough that I don't know what it's like to date anymore. But I do remember those feelings when I was dating of like, can I trust this person? Let's meet in a public place. And then whenever you're kind of dating for long enough that you're considering going, somewhere with them, you're like, oh, but can I? And I think with dark romance, it's like you can go with this person and you don't have to worry about like getting hurt or anything like that. It's like safely exploring this thing that you're interested in and want to know more about without getting hurt.
I like that. That's a really insightful way to think about it.
Yeah.
But of course, I don't know. I'd have to talk to like dark romance readers and writers because like for me, it's just not my thing. But it's crazy, even in the indie world, as someone who deals with a lot of romance writers, they tend to get many more readers than I will see for my contemporary kind of bubbly. Oh yeah, they'll have a faster uptick of readers right now than I will.
It's a trend for sure to see how many people are interested in that genre, and I think every genre starts to trend. Every genre has their wave, right?
Yeah.
In fantasy, the Dragon Rider age is here, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to revisit
not
the
that
Dragon
long ago.
Riders.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now in the romance world, that dark romance seems to be an uptick where every freaking other post I'm seeing is, look how freaking raunchy and dark this romance is versus this romance, and why this one didn't just sit well with me versus why this one this was my new book boyfriend. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm a hopeless romantic too. Like, I want the Ruger. I want the loyal, strong, stubborn, sarcastic, witty kind of guy that is always going to be there for you. But in these dark romances, you're starting to see a little bit more of that volatility, where that's where I think my line is drawn, where I'm like, listen, I'm all about a dude that loses his temper in the fantasy realm, right? For the sake of proving a point. I have a character who does that, but he would never, ever, ever raise his hand against a woman. And that in dark romance, I'm starting to see an uptick of that. And that's where I start to get that's where my problems get drawn. But again, everybody has their moments. It's fine.
Yeah, I find the dark romance that I'm okay with are ones where you can see that there's like a level of consent there. Like, it's like obviously the two are into whatever they're doing. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, you do you, man. Like, it's not for me to judge. But it's like the ones where you don't see that consent, where it's almost like this like, I don't know. It's so weird to me, but
there's a fine line.
Yeah. And like non-con is very in right now, which I'm like,
okay, explain for the idiots here. What the heck is that?
You have non-con and then you have consensual non-con. So like non-con is essentially it's exactly what you think it is. Like, it's consensual non-consent is like agreeing to chase someone through the woods and then pin them down. Like, that's like where you have like agreed to do that. Like,
okay.
and like my like consensual non-con, I'm like, cool, that's great because you guys have consented to this and that's cool. But whenever it's non-con, I'm like, like, no,
Yeah.
thank you. Like that's a real risk in like the real world for me. Just walking down the street, I don't want to read about it.
Right.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know there's a lot of readers out there that rave about that.
And
And
they love
again,
it. And it's like, you know, and I don't like to yuck someone's yum, you know? Like it's like
yeah,
if you
if
like
that's
it,
your
that's
jam,
cool. It's not for me, and that's typically the point in the book where I'm like, nope, this book is not for me. Like,
yeah.
and it's like it's a big thing for me as a writer is that I always want it to be very clear that there's like consent in my books. You know, like
Yes.
both people, whatever is about to happen, both people have agreed to it happening.
And there is such a level. There is a elegance when you're
Mhm.
talking about that, when you are doing a narrative scene like that. And I don't know, can I talk about a particular scene
Yeah,
in
go ahead.
90
Yeah.
Days? Okay. So
Michael
there
looks like he's like glazing over here. He's like, oh, so much romance talk.
It is the most brutal conversation I've ever had in my life. But I'm sticking
Not the man.
with it. I'm sticking with it.
Oh, Micah, sit
You're a
down.
hero.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm here for the people and I'm here for you guys.
He's
So
like, I'm here to support women.
yeah, I support women.
You don't have a daughter, so I mean, you get it, you know.
You all do your thing.
you all do your thing. Thank you, Micah.
I'll just sit here and I was actually looking at a bird.
No,
Bird just flew by. So
I was looking at a bird.
yeah.
So there's a scene when Renly gets really, really hammered. And
Oh yeah,
there's that moment between her and Ruger where she's kind of egging him on. And, you know, Ruger's like, oh my God, I want this woman. He's like, but she's drunk and
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. And I just thought there's that fine elegance in telling a narrative with that consent versus non-consent,
yeah.
right? And I always think back on that scene, and I haven't told you that, but I always think back to it because I just thought it was done so respectfully and playfully, which I think is a really big indicator and makes it unique for each character involved. Where Ruger was just like, okay, I really want you, but you might regret this in the morning.
Yeah.
And Renly's just like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, like we're gonna have some fun. And I've seen scenes like that done before in even just non-romance or non-romance driven plots and romance driven plots, but it was just there was such a playfulness to it. And
Yeah.
there's that non-consent versus that consent. And I thought I always think back to that scene when you talk about those stuff like that because
Yeah.
I think, you know, characters should have fun, but characters should also have those boundaries. And it's just God, I love that scene. So
Oh,
yeah,
I'm so
I
glad.
totally rambled there, but I just wanted to tell you.
I love that. I'm so glad that you like that. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's really important. It's really important. And there's so much talk in the romance world, like as an author, about like all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
whether, like, no matter what you do as a writer, it's like you're doing it wrong. I'm sure you guys have that in the fantasy world where it does
Oh my
not
God,
matter
yeah.
how you do it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing it wrong.
Right.
And yeah, there's all this talk where people are like, oh, like all the talk about consent is so annoying. And it's like, but it's so important. I
Right.
do not know who's picking up my book. I can't control that. Once it's out in the world, you know, it's on Amazon. Like you can use debit cards on Amazon. Like I don't know who's picking it up.
Yeah.
And if someone, like an impressionable mind, is picking up my book and reads it, I want them to be able to clearly see that this is an important part of any intimate relationship
Yes.
is having consent, and because that is also like part of learning to trust each other in a relationship, and trust is so important in a relationship.
And
So
that's I love that you hit that nail on the head because in that moment, that sub theme is trust.
Mhm.
Renly is trusting Ruger to act appropriately, even if she's being, you know, hammered and tipsy.
Even
Right?
if she thinks she wants something else.
Yeah. But Ruger is having to trust Renly.
Mhm.
And there's just such a beautiful, intimate moment. And that's what I think when even and just the grand scheme of like character development with partnerships, relationships, romance, whatever it might be, is taking the time to build these raw, real, and authentic relationships between characters that
Mhm.
they can joke about 4 chapters later in or another book in and be like, dude, remember that time? And because that's so relatable. And like no matter what genre, whether it's a fantasy book with a subplot of romance or a subplot of friendship or a contemporary romance, like having those characters be able to relate to each other and for readers to relate to those moments and go, God, that is integrity. That is rawness. Like I want a relationship like that. Like, gosh, that's
Me too.
yes.
No kidding. My husband's wonderful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
He still makes fun of me for like this one time a spider fell on my back and I was like trying to tell him to get it off of me, but I was also spinning as fast as I could, freaking out, and he's laughing at me. Like he still brings that up.
That's
awesome.
amazing.
By the way, I would have died. So.
Oh, I wanted to die. It was the worst thing ever. Like I felt something on my back and I thought it was a hair and I turned and looked in the mirror and it was like a spider and I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I know. We weren't even dating that long at that point. I'm surprised. You know, there's a lot of moments in my, like with my husband where I'm like, I don't know why we're still together. Like I'm crazy and you chose me. And not only did you choose me, you reproduced with me. So now you're like stuck with me.
Darn right.
Darn right. Oh my God.
Hey, so I had a question.
No.
Chelsea brought it up with how the characters, making decisions or whatever can reverberate and reflect chapters down or even books down. Are all of your books standalones or do any of them tie in?
So most of my books are standalones. Calorglin is not. It's the only one. It's an interconnected series, so you could pick up any book and read it.
Okay.
And like kind of have a general idea of what happened in the previous book.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only reason it's not a standalone is because I missed the characters so much.
Yeah, sure.
I think if that had not happened, it probably would have been a standalone. But yeah, all my other books, I try to write standalones because I just get distracted by other book ideas. And with a series, I really feel like the worst thing I feel like I see with indie authors is when they start a series and then they jump ship for another book or another series. Yes. And then you're like, well, I just read your first book and now you have this. Like, what are you doing? Can you finish the series? Yeah. And so I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I did kind of do it this year because I should have put out the third book for Calorglin, but I put out a different book. But it's a whole long story why that happened. So now here I am trying to circle back and like get the third book out next year.
So, but you're killing it.
So how long have you been on Wattpad?
Since 2021. So I wrote Calorglin for NaNoWriMo 2020.
Okay.
Was my first draft. And it was because I was so depressed and I thought I was never going to travel again. Like Calorglin, for anyone wondering, it's not a fantasy world. It's a place in Ireland called Calorglin, Ireland. It's a real place. You can Google it. But yeah, so I thought I was never going to travel again. I thought I was going to be stuck here forever in the boonies, in a constant state of lockdown.
Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that.
Like I literally lived 2 hours from the Alaskan border and I couldn't get through.
Right.
Oh my
God. But yeah, anyways, so I put it on Wattpad on New Year's, I want to say 2021.
Okay.
And that was kind of like the start of my journey there.
And when did you...
Just this year, I've kind of decided that I'm probably going to pull everything off of Wattpad because I just don't have, like, I opened it for the first time in months the other day and I had like hundreds of notifications. So introverted me got very overwhelmed and was like, oh God, I hid under my desk. And then I was like, I'm not enjoying this anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when did you publish your first book outside of Wattpad?
March 17th, 2023.
23. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I just kind of wanted to get a timeline of where you were. Yeah, where you were at.
And then I stressed myself out by thinking I needed to put out like a lot of books so that people know who I am. And it's like, oh no, you don't need to do that to yourself. Like it's okay.
Oh my God,
no. Okay. Yeah. No one knows who you are, and B, like just build your backlog. Like your people will find you, and then they'll find your backlog, and it's gonna be wonderful.
Exactly.
Did you all hear about that story? I saw it on Threads, but some author had written a book, and they used a lot of Gaelic and they used a lot of old Irish tongue. And anyways, they got ripped, like cancel culture canceled for like misspelling or misusing some of the words.
Oh my God.
And like I
Oh,
don't
I hate cancel culture. Oh, I could go on forever about my hate of cancel culture.
I couldn't believe it. They were in love with the culture, in love with the country, and they wrote this book, and they used a lot of Gaelic, and they used a lot of that old tongue. But apparently, like, and I can't see the normal person in Ireland throwing a fit. I don't know, but somebody got a hold of it, pointed out why it was wrong, and then just it lit like a wildfire, and they got straight up canceled. I
Oh,
couldn't believe it.
I hate cancel culture. Like,
Same.
I
I do
literally
too.
just watched it with another author
I can't believe it.
who like put out like these videos apologize, and it was like really hard to watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't with this.
No. And I hate it when people who are canceled apologize. Like I hate it.
Oh, I know.
Don't do that. You don't. I saw a woman. It may have been the one you're talking about. Was it the one about her using generative AI for
Yeah.
pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah. That broke my heart.
It broke my
like-
heart too.
I was like, you don't have to apologize for that. You don't have to apologize. These people are wicked, bad people that are doing this to you. Don't. Yeah, I hated that. That was terrible. I watched that unfold too, and it was awful.
Oh, it just drove me nuts. And it's because, like, the reason I think it drove me nuts is it triggered something inside of me. And again, this is like my own bias and my own experiences speaking. But like, what I saw in those videos was this person who had been pushed into a corner and it like attacked, right? Like,
Right.
because that's what I'm seeing in this like whole in any kind of cancel culture situation. It's like you push someone in a corner
Right.
and you basically attack
Right.
to get them to see your way,
Right.
your way. And of course, when you're the person in the corner, your reaction is like, I need to I need to get
Right.
out of here. I need to get out. And you'll do anything to get out. You'll
Right.
lie. You'll yell. You're not yourself.
You're in
you
a
know?
corner. Yeah.
And I just know what that's like because I had one person come at me like that, like push me in a corner and just attack.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I will say anything. I will tell you whatever you want just to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so then to me, I'm like, so now we've canceled this author.
Right.
Generative AI is just growing by the second.
And I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
Of this
Right.
like what was the purpose of this? She can't go to book cons. You've destroyed her career.
Yeah.
For what
purpose?
Like
what
was
purpose?
the end? Like what did you want from that?
Right.
Like I just don't understand it. And so like whenever I hear these stories of people getting canceled for things, it's like, for what purpose?
Right.
Like you canceled them for why? Like there are lots of authors and things that I don't buy their stuff for my own reasons, but you'll never know who they are.
Right.
Because like, what does it matter? It's my reason.
Right.
you can read it. It doesn't affect me. Like
such a mob mentality has always been scary.
Yeah,
all the way back for whatever use it was used for, and a lot of time mob mentality was used for very, very wicked things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been a scary thing, but it's being used like that now. It's just crazy to me that you can stir up a mob of people to go after, and they don't know why they're doing it. They all of a sudden, oh, this person says this is bad, so yeah, it's bad. Get them, up or whatever. I'll probably cut that. I can't say. But can't cancel them or whatever. And it's like I just don't. I don't get mob mentality, man. I hate it.
It's scary.
It is scary.
It's really, really scary. And that's why like my thing now, like after my personal experience, my thing was like educate yourself as much as possible
in everything,
on whatever it is that you could potentially get canceled over. Like in my situation, I actually went out and like got a lawyer because I was like, I need to know how to protect myself. I need to make sure I'm in the right so that if this happens, I have actual legal evidence of like, no, this person is actually harassing me. This person is at like, Like, you have to protect yourself, and that's really, like, and it's scary. Like, it's so scary to think that, and it's all on social media. It's people that you don't know.
It's
And
scary,
it's like,
and it's sad. It's
yeah.
sad that you have to do that, because most people are still good people and just trying to live their lives. Like you're not trying to hurt anybody by whatever this person came at you for. You know, it's like, but now you have to protect yourself, and you have to be afraid of constantly, or you have to walk on eggshells. It's crazy.
It feels like you're constantly walking on eggshells.
Right.
Like, everything you do, like, even now, like, in my situation, like, I find myself pausing a whole bunch. Like, I mean, I kind of almost had like a Jessica Dodge situation. You guys talked about that. Like, I had where I got accused of it. And even now, like, it's still, like, I was in the right. Like, absolutely in the right. That's why I had to get a lawyer. I got a copyright lawyer. I learned all about copyright law. If you guys ever want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, but basically it was like, what was I saying?
Jessica Dodge moment.
I had a Jessica Dodge moment, and like, to this, like, now whenever I write, I find myself stopping and being like, oh my God, did someone else write this before? Like, you know, even though it's like, I know copyright law, right? Like, I understand what is actually copyright infringement, what is literary plagiarism, how would it actually be proved in a court of law, which, by the way, next to impossible unless you have an identical book.
Right.
You know, and it's like, even though I know this, there is that fear inside of me, even though it's like, yeah, you're gonna write the same thing as someone else, because look how many freaking books there are in the world. Like, there's no getting around it.
Well, you know, Chelsea and I've talked about that before, and, you know, I don't, are you a musician at all?
I played the clarinet in high school.
Well, so you at least know keys, right? You know what keys are. So there are 7 keys, or really 12 keys, you know, when you do your flats and your sharps, you know, that's it. That's all of music is 12 keys. And so when was the first instrument developed? You know, how many eons ago, right? So from that time to now, everyone in existence has still only had 12 keys to work in. There's going to be a million things written the same way. You know, and
Sheeran proved it in court. He proved it in court. He's like, you can't. He's like the basics of pop are like these.
Well, the basics of pop is 4 chords. There's only 4 chords in the basics of pop.
It's like, how are you ever gonna write anything that's like 100% authentically original?
No, you're not. And it's the same with books. Yeah, I'm sure the whatever string of words that you happen to pick out, that string of words has been written, you know, a million times.
Probably so many times, like, you can't even count.
Right, can't even count. So anybody who claims, I mean, it would have to be, and you know the law, obviously, or at least more than Chelsea and I do, but it would have to be some pretty hard evidence to.
It's really hard. So, like, copyright only protects you from, like, so, like, if I love Chelsea's book, let's say, and I'm like, I'm going to translate this to French Canadian for her so that all these people in Quebec can read it, and I never talk to her about it, and I just do it.
Yeah.
She can get me on copyright. I've just stolen her book. I just took it. Like, it doesn't matter that I wrote it in a different language. I took your book.
Yeah.
And so I can't just slap a new cover on it and say, well, now it's the French edition. Like, no, absolutely not. Just like I couldn't take her book and just change the cover and put my name on it. Like, I can't, like, that's what your copyright protects you against. But, you know, for example, in my book, Calorglin, it's the story of a dentist. She falls in love with an Irishman. They go to Calorglin, Ireland for a thing called Puck Fair. If someone wants to come in and write a book about Puck Fair in Calorglin, Ireland, between a dentist and an Irish farmer, there's nothing I can do about that. They're not infringing on my copyright. You can't copyright an idea. Not to mention, Calorglin's a place. It's you know, like, Puck Fair is real. Like, they're not mine.
So let me ask you this: so I have been considering this for a long time, months now. Since it does take me 4 days to write a paragraph, I was actually thinking of really just taking most of Chelsea's book and taking it paragraph by paragraph and changing certain words. Can I do that and not
no.
be? I cannot.
No,
okay.
if it's really close, you definitely can't. There was an author, and I forget who it was, but someone took her book, basically shoved it into AI, and then it just came up with the same thing. It was really terrible writing. Like it looked like someone who had never written a book before.
Right.
It was so clunky, but you could tell it was the exact same book because the words were just like slightly
right. They just changed.
Wasn't this all over Instagram a while back?
Yeah, on Threads. Yeah, I saw it on Threads.
I saw something on Instagram a while back about this.
Yeah, and that is definitely copyright infringement. You are not allowed to do that.
Okay, so let me ask you, how many words per paragraph do I have to change in
Oh
order for
my
it to not
God.
be?
You know, that question I don't know the answer to because my meeting was so short because I literally had to. I showed the lawyer the two manuscripts in question. He opened the first page and he's like, "Why are you here?"
Crazy.
That was literally like he's like, "I am so sorry." He's like, "I'm gonna have to charge you like an hour." He's like, "These aren't even the same story. Why are you here?"
Yeah, because you're afraid. Because you're afraid of getting.
Because I knew already, right? Like, you know, I know that you have to be able to flip through the book, and it has to be the same book, like the exact same book. And these are not the same books. And so he was like, he's like, "What am I doing? Like, what?" He's like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "You must know the," and I'm like, "I do." I was like, if anything comes of this, I was like, I'm going to be ready. And I'm going to be ready with my countersuit of slander too.
Right.
Dang right, dude.
Yeah.
Like he literally opened the box. He's like, "What are you talking about? Like, why are you here?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I know." Yeah.
That's
wow.
crazy.
People are crazy. Like, and it's like, I get it. You know, I'm a writer. I get it. Like, I understand. Like, I spend months, like, Calorglin was years. Like, I wrote it in 2020. I didn't publish it on Amazon until 2023.
Yeah.
That's how many rounds of editing it went through, you know? And, like, I understand that you work so hard on something, and the last thing you want is someone to take that book and slap a new cover on and say, "Hey, I did this." You know?
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, that's awful. But it's like, you also have to take a step back and say, okay, you just wrote a great book. Someone's going to fall in love with it and still be like, well, if I wrote this book, I would do this. And they're going to run with that idea.
Right.
And that's okay. And you have to learn to be okay with that.
Right.
And accept that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I love your perspective.
Find that you're an amazing writer.
Yeah. Well,
I love your perspective.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's Laura, your perspective is amazing, and it's really refreshing.
Depressed all the time. Like, think how miserable your writing life is going to be if you're constantly feeling like someone's going to steal from you. Like, just you're going to be miserable, and you're never going to write a word in your life because you're going to be so afraid that someone's going to take it. Like, someone is going to write your book. Like, look at my book that I thought was so original that I sent to you, and someone right away was like, "Oh, hey, that's the proposal." It's like, dang it.
Right.
But also good because now I can be like, "Hey, did you like the proposal? You're gonna love this."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Micah, what were you gonna say?
My dream is one day for someone to say, "Oh my God, I read you know, this book, and so you should read Calorglin because it's just like it."
Sure.
I'd be like, "Yes."
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Right.
No, I was just gonna say that, you know, like if I hear a sick riff, you know, or something that somebody's written, first thing I'll do is I'll go learn it. You know, I'll turn it on and I'll learn it, and that's part of my my arsenal now in playing. So next time I go and write something, that understanding of that riff is now part of my. Just like if you read this certain prose or this certain way this author put this or used this idiom or this metaphor or whatever, that's in your arsenal now. So you know you're not going to copy it, but it's going to become part of you because that's how art evolves.
Yep.
You know, so.
And and God, Laura, your experience with the going to the lawyer, learning everything, it's so sad that not more people do that because I feel like you get the 1% of mob people in the community and they go after and they do the cancel culture. They attack and say horrible things, insult, and they have no education behind them.
Yeah.
But those people are the ones everybody hears about.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just it. Like, and I mean, the worst thing about it is that even when you know you're in the right, even whenever you go the right avenues, which, by the way, that's the other issue I have, is the fact that Amazon and all these websites play judge in court where they shouldn't because like copyright's a legal issue. It's not an issue with the website. It's a legal issue. And but yeah, like I feel a lot of the people who accuse, it's because they don't know. They just assume, oh, I wrote this book. Like, you know, for me, I wrote Calorglin. No one else can write this book. And it's like, anyone can write this book if they want to. They just can't take my book and put their name on it. That's the only thing they can't do. But if they want to write a dentist and a delivery truck driver going to Calorglin, Ireland,
be my guest.
Go for it.
Right.
Just make sure you point people in the direction of my book too, you know?
Right.
Like just say, oh, this is a really great book. Similar premise.
Okay,
exactly.
so since you guys, you know, absolutely murdered my soul with 40 minutes of romance talk, we can actually get back to, you know, real things that matter, like me. No, no, I did want to get back to, though, your querying. So you are already actively querying, or is that something you're going to be doing here in near future?
Near future. So I basically did a round of edits. So Chelsea did my book. I did her edits. And, you know, thank God she had moments of saying that I'm brilliant, because sometimes edits get real rough, okay?
Yeah,
when you have like 20 comments, you're like, I don't know how to write. It's obvious.
Right. Right. I don't know what I'm doing.
Like, I obviously failed.
Right.
Like, thank God every, 20 comments I got, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just did that round and I've printed it off. I'm kind of letting it sit for a bit, giving myself some space from it. And then I'm going to go through and just kind of make sure it still flows, because sometimes and I mean, it's the same when I write a first draft. I find sometimes halfway through the book, suddenly something changes or something becomes more brilliant than I put in the first half. So it's like, you got to kind of I got to recheck my continuity.
Yeah.
That is going back to Chelsea again so that she can just see if there's a good improvement. And I'm still 2,000 words short of where I want to be. So I'm hoping that maybe in another round of edits, I can hit that 2K. Just because in romance, I don't know what it's like in other genres, I find they're looking for between 70 to 80K. So I'm like, if I can hit that 80K, then it gives me more options.
Wiggle room.
It opens more doors for me than if I have a lower word count.
Okay.
Now,
you don't want to do too much. You don't want to hit 150K.
Right.
You need to be a big name romance author to get there. If you're going to put out a thick book, you better have a solid name behind you.
Yeah. Now, are you swinging for the fences as far as what house you're going for, or what agent you're going for? Or are you?
I mean, in a dream world, it would be Berkeley Romance picking me up, or Bloom or something. But that is that's a dream world. And I'm very aware that that's living the big dreams.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna. I mean, you're literally just gonna shotgun blast it once you're ready and just.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna shoot it out wherever. I'm gonna shoot my shot. Since we're romance people, I'm gonna shoot my shot wherever I can.
Wait, we are not romance people.
Well, you are now.
Okay.
You are today.
I'm adopted into the family.
You're adopted for today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna convince you. I should just send you this manuscript and be like, you tell me now.
Well, I will. If you want to send me the manuscript, I'll read it. Or when it comes out, I'll read it. Or both, of course. I'll buy it when it comes out. But yes, if I get a hold of that, I will read it and see if it changes my mind.
Pop Micah's cherry.
Yeah.
I'll send him the truck scene and I'll see if he's
Yeah. Dude, send me that scene. Send me that scene.
I'll send you that scene, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I'm
literally
very
just
curious.
about choked on my water.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, we're at an hour and 22 minutes. And
can I have a request about the picture that you guys use?
Sure.
Oh my gosh. So you guys had this one where you had this wizard running after you guys. Can I be the wizard yelling hey, let me join?
That's hilarious. Yes.
I want to know.
So I was already thinking about how to integrate you into the next one we do. And because, of course, here's the secret. That's generative AI that does that. Hello.
Oh my God! Quit!
Oh no!
Don't you dare put me on this show!
Right,
I need to cancel you.
It's
Excuse me.
I go into Bing Images or whatever it is, and I say, a bearded man and a blonde woman doing this, and that's it. That's all I do.
After talking about romance.
Yeah, I mean, not doing that.
I can't
not doing that. But so now I'm gonna have to put like a bearded man, a blonde woman, and a brunette woman doing
and a brunette wizard. Excuse me,
wizard.
I
Yes,
want Gandalf the Grey vibes.
Yeah,
Like, okay, I love the vibe on this one where you were sitting and like drinking coffee. But if we can get Laura as a wizard.
Yeah, well, so I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that there was a wizard in the background.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It's this one where you get like you see how you have a little wizard back there. I'm like, that could be me.
It's freaking hilarious.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, so I'll have to try to figure out how to get you in there, but make it look. Have you watched that one yet?
I haven't. I keep meaning to because I'm like, I need to know the story.
Oh,
it's so good.
It's a great. I do wish you would have watched that before now, because you probably would have looked at me in a different light after.
I look at you in a different light after hearing about the 16K of spice that you wrote, and that you were probably very focused on the number of feet, and that there was probably like a 5th foot that somehow got slid in there.
But got slid in where is the real question. So yeah, it was disgusting.
There's nothing more horrifying to me than a foot. So like the idea of like more feet than necessary is like.
I already know how to get to you.
I read a book where there was a foot fetish in it, and I just was like cringing. I'm like the whole time. I was like, oh, and it was a very minor part of the book. It was like, and funny enough, it was a fade to black romance, so like you never saw anything. But he liked feet, and I was like,
yeah. What's funny is I hate feet, and
they're disgusting.
And I flip out if people touch my feet.
Oh, me
too.
Like
Hardcore, like I flip out.
Oh, me too. I kick. I will kick you in the face. I will roundhouse kick you. Yep. My husband sometimes at night this is grounds for divorce. He's so lucky we're still married.
He is.
He will get into bed. And he will put his feet on my legs because they're cold, and I will. It takes everything in me to not I just kick so hard under the I'm freaking out. My basset hound's like, what's happening? And he doesn't want to move.
No, if my wife puts her feet on me, she is flying off the bed.
Yeah,
it's not even a question. It's right.
It's so gross. Don't. So, no, it's your feet are disgusting.
Yeah.
Even my kids, I love my kids, I do, but their feet, I have such a hard time. My husband has to cut their toenails. I can't do it.
No, see that's a different story because Decky's feet, and it was the same with Emma and Lily when they were young, but their feet.
Oh my God, you have 3? Oh.
Yeah, I have an 18-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
You just to start over. You're like, that's
what it was.
Let's start over.
We were done. We were in the clear. I was ready to, I was spending money on new guitars. I was building my studio downstairs, because we didn't have, the girls were grown, enough to be, not my babies anymore. And Amanda was like, I think I want to go for one more. So we didn't have a boy. She's like, what if we get a boy? I was like, well, of course, children are blessings to me, and I'm not gonna say no if that's where we're going. So yeah, but sure enough, he came out, and he's dope. He's great.
He's the mascot for the podcast.
He is, yeah. Sometimes people will DM me and be like, hey, that was a fun episode, blah blah blah. By the way, how's Decky? And it's like, oh, that's funny. But okay, all right, let's do this. So I might keep some of that. Some of that was fun. But anyways, so we'll probably go ahead and wrap it up there. Laura, do you want to give us, where we can find you, what you're doing right now, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just living in the world of editing chaos. So trying not to jump ship on editing and write something totally new.
Yeah.
It's a rough life, man.
It is.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping to have the 3rd book for my Calorglin series out in the summer of next year. So if there are any ARC readers out there for romance, that opportunity is coming.
I'll be first in line.
Ooh.
As long as I get that truck scene.
Oh, yeah,
I know you know what you're doing.
I'll it to you. It's fine. Just don't put your name on it, okay?
Right. But if I run it through AI and then
if you run it through AI and make a very clunky version of it,
yeah, gotcha.
It's still copyright infringement.
I don't understand any of this. I'll never get it.
Micah, the key is just sit down at your computer and write your own thing.
It takes too long. I'm getting new hemorrhoids from how long I have to sit at this stupid chair just to write a paragraph. Like new ones grow because of how long I'm sitting.
Get a sit-stand desk now.
But
you can buy attachments for your desk now that will like allow you to stand up, and then you can erase the whole hemorrhoid issue.
Who's got time for that? When I can just steal my writing.
Oh my god!
I thought that dairy made me emotionally not okay. This hemorrhoid conversation might be worse.
So when I broke my back in like 2013, I was in the hospital for like 18 days straight, right? Yeah. And they couldn't move me, and everything on the left side of my on my left side, all the way from my hip down to my toe, was like there was nothing getting down there. Like if you saw the X-ray, basically all of the nutrients, everything, all the veins and everything were cut off. So the leg was like super atrophied, like it got like the size of my forearm. It was crazy. But another thing was that I couldn't poo. So for 18 days, I couldn't poo. So about day 4 or 5, they had to start coming in and giving me a sonogram 3 times a day to make sure that what was in there was not going to burst. Because if it burst, I could go septic and die, right? So they're like super monitoring this thing.
Well, can't you like also vomit poop if it stays in too long?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I
think that was an episode of South Park.
I don't want to know that.
Yeah, but anyways,
that's my mom. She's an ER nurse. She knows.
Yeah, I think once it's in the colon and it's been processed, I don't think that it's yeah. But anyways, so they're like, dude, you're gonna be effed up. Like you're gonna be super constipated. It's gonna be super painful, and you'll probably get hemorrhoids.
Oh and my god, this just reminds me of pregnancy.
It kind of was like it was so tight and things were pushing against each other. It wouldn't anyway. So once I finally got to where I could move again and they could move me and actually work on it, I walked away from that with a hemorrhoid that has not left. And that was what, 10 years ago? No, 13 years ago. So yeah, whatever.
That hemorrhoid must be awful.
It is awful. It is the most brutal thing, and you can get rid of them, right? You can get them.
That's so painful.
Yeah, it's so you can get them lanced off, or you can get them lassoed off, where they basically
where they tie it.
Yeah, they like pucker your butthole out and like get it, and then they tie it, and then I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. No, it's not. What I deal with, like when Mr. Hemorrhoid decides to flare up, I'll deal with that over like the insane gnarliness that I've heard what happens if you get one removed. It's crazy.
This is like the most epic character development, really just raw and authentic.
Chelsea, you think you know me, but like you honestly have no idea. Like you have no idea. But that and all my other stories are a story for another day. Thank you so much to our guest, L. Meredith B. If you want to go look at her on Instagram, she has a sports car on the picture. She's following.
Anyone wondering, it's actually lmeredith.books, and there's a picture of me with a book that I'm holding to my face.
That's not right, because that's not the one I followed. She follows 17 people, and she has 18 followers. So if you want to go,
I'm brand new.
Anyways, no, please give us your website, give us your socials, so everybody can
look at my website, y'all. I'm just.
Okay,
you guys can look at my book cover.
Yeah,
my website is https://lmeredithwrites.card.co. You can also just go to the link in my bio.
Boom. On the Instas, and I'm going to I'll throw that in the show notes. I'm going to throw the artists in the show notes because they both sound.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I'll send those to you. They're amazing. They're both really amazing.
And then once you send me the truck scene, I'll put that in the show notes so everyone in the world can.
Please don't
have it and copy it. Anyways, that's it. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on. I think we should do it again because I think we barely scratched the surface of what.
Yeah.
Of what the conversation.
We barely scratched the surface. Laura, you are awesome.
Yeah, super honestly. Fun. I really had a good time. So thank you, Chelsea. Do you want to send us out?
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by at Acre and Ink, everybody.